Technology is the accelerant for the changes that are being created due to consciousness. With the advent of computers, and ultimately personal computers, and ultimately the things that come next, which I'm going to talk about in this ProGnost update, with these developments, it's changing human life at a pace faster than ever before. And it's causing what I would consider to be probably the 6 most important points for humanity right now. But number 1 is karma. It's the lack of self-love. It is the lack of the ability to receive the forgiveness of the I am for having ever been in the human condition. We also have it on this planet right now. There's group karma. There is race karma. There is religious karma. So just imagine, just feel into it for a moment, over 6 billion people on the planet working through their karma. The next item, being changed rapidly by technology, is the classic, the age-old imbalance between masculine and feminine. The war, the energetic imbalance, that war is taking place within each person, but it's manifested on the outside. Technology is creating significant changes in the mind. I guess the best way to put it is the mind realizes that it's becoming outdated. Eventually, either the mind will find its rightful place in the trilogy of the body of consciousness, or it will simply melt down. The body is going through tremendous changes right now. The template for the body is millions and millions of years old, and it's now changing with the advent of technology that's going to allow people to replace body parts or eventually their whole body with things that are developed in a laboratory. There are those already on the other side who are preparing for it, who are desiring it, who are going to try to bring their spirit back into a printed body. Energy on the planet is a relatively new phenomenon. It's only been in the last, let's say, couple of 100 years, but really last 100 years in particular, that energy was needed to maintain civilization. There are very, very, very few humans on Earth who even have a clue about it right now. What is energy? Where did energy come from? And how do you make neutral energy available in a type of force that would then turn on lights and drive automobiles? God didn't show up on the human scene until about 6,000 years ago. And actually, originally, as the consciousness of something more, something beyond, began to come into the human scene, humans started to assign God to everything. Well, it got a little confusing for humans. With all these gods, they could barely remember when they woke up in the morning which god they should be appeasing. So consciousness had it so that dear Abraham came along and said, let's consolidate. There's a lot of different churches, and they have their different ways of honoring and being fearful of God. They have different practices and approaches to God, but that is rapidly changing right now. So there's a lot of confusion right now about God. There's a lot of wars and battles about God, and technology is pushing that. I'm talking about real freedom. Freedom to be sensual once again. Freedom to feel once again, to go beyond just mind thought. That is changing rapidly as a result of technology. We all know that changes are here. There's no denying it, and there's no denying that they're going faster than ever. Consciousness called for fast change, no longer this slow evolution like you've had in the physical body, but very fast change, and it's happening. Technology is the accelerant. Technology is not a bad thing. Technology is actually in service, doing exactly what humans asked it to do. Suddenly one day, I felt like I was in a vortex. Suddenly everything was swirling. I became dizzy and very, very disoriented. Suddenly I found myself in a very, very strange time in the future. Everyone had these devices in their hands. And as I peered over the shoulder of some of the people in the restaurant, I gave it a name immediately. I called it a looking glass. People were actually in such a sense of focus with these devices. It was almost addictive. There was a seduction to it. But what I saw concerned me because I saw more and more people seeming to give over their sovereignty and their consciousness to these devices. I looked into the future a little further ahead, and I saw people everywhere with not just these looking glass devices held in the hand, but across their face. And some of them even had them literally implanted into their eyes. And I saw people so immersed into virtual reality that they had lost touch of this reality. When they become so focused within the looking glasses, they become lost. So we come to this time of artificial intelligence and virtual reality. Virtual reality being the thing I really wanted to talk about today. It's not meant to be frightening, not whatsoever. It's not even necessarily wrong. It just is what is coming. And this is the time where you have chosen to come back into. This is why you waited for your enlightenment when you could have had it 2, 3, 4 lifetimes ago. You came here to bring in that light for others. Well, for yourself indeed, but for others. Not to inflict it, but rather to simply ground it, to be in it. This is the most amazing time of all. Actually, the most amazing time of all. There's nothing wrong with technology. You can make it work for you. You can be the master and let it serve you. There's no need to worry about any of this taking you over. But it is important for you to understand what's happening at a very accelerated pace right now in this thing called planet Earth.